really don't own anything. So if you have that mentality, you don't own anything, then why would you want any of this stuff that's costing you this big money unless it's making your life easier? Now here's an example. I don't know what happened there. The principal on the loan is $200 and the interest you're paying on that loan is $700. And over the time of the loan, you pay less and less interest and you pay more and more principal. Why? Because the bank wants their money first. And that's what an amortization schedule means, is the bank's getting paid first. A lot of people don't understand that with a mortgage, but that's why it's important to flip this graph, pay more principal first and less interest. And when we talk about HELOC system, that's really what you're doing if you have good enough credit, that you're paying less interest over time. You're not paying that amortization schedule. So this is what we want. That's why it's so important to pay more principal down, because you're saving yourself money and interest in the long run. All right. So the first step on this, it really is, you got to stop incurring new debt. You got to ask yourself, do you need this? Are you a shopaholic, or do you want this? You know, what do you really own? Take a look at what you really own. Do you own your car? Do you own your house? If you own your car, it means you have no car payment. If you own your house, it means you don't have any mortgage. Really, you don't even own your car, because you still have to pay for license plates every year and for taxes on the car, um, license plate stickers and so forth, or else you're not able to drive it. So um, what exactly do you own? What do you have? Well, look around and see what you owe money on and what you really own. If you think you own your house, or, well, I have a lot of equity in my house, it doesn't mean you own your house. Just quit making payments and see how long that equity is going to last in your house. They'll still take it from you. So that's what you need to do. That is not truly being wealthy. Being wealthy means you own all of your possessions. You have no debt to anyone, either on your car and your house, and you have enough residual income coming in from your investments that pay the taxes to allow you to run your home, or at least pay your taxes on your home, and run your automobile. Okay? Now, if you have to, cut up your credit cards. I know that a lot of people won't do this, and I know it's hard to do. And plus, if you watch the credit thing, I say don't cut up your credit cards. But if you can't control yourself, then cut them up. Don't close them. Cut them up so you don't use them. I love, there's a lot of things out there. Put them in a can and freeze them in the but that's not going to do any good. If you have enough control, you won't use them. If you have a little bit of control, you'll leave them at home so you don't have them with you. And if you have no control, you need to cut them up. Okay, simple and plain as that. You know you. You do whatever you need to do. Look around your house. That's what I want you to do. Not looking for things to sell. Just look around the house and look at how much junk that you have. How much stuff that you have that you don't even use anymore. And I thought you think, oh, great, I can have a garage sale and sell it. What? Yeah, that's great. And then you're just going to buy new junk with it. What is the stuff that you need or use, and what don't you use? And that'll give you some type of idea of how you've incurred debt and why you've purchased it. And think to yourself, why did I need it at the time? No, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but really, that's the first thing we have to look at, because now I want your mentality to be, when you go to the store and you see something, you think, do I need that? Where's it going to end up in 6 months? Am I going to still be using it in 6 months? If it is something you'll still be using, like a new chair or a couch or something, and it won't break, or it'll still hold some type of value, then it's a purchase that might be worthy. If you're not going to use it, or you don't see yourself using it in 6 months, then you probably didn't need it today if you're not going to need it in 6 months, and move on. All right? Compare old credit card bills to what you have now. That is the best one. Go look at all your old credit card bills and see what you charged up on them. And then after you've gotten sick and thrown up, realizing how much money you've wasted on this junk, take those credit cards, cut them up, or put them someplace you can't get to them, and realize that all you're doing with those credit cards is purchasing junk. I know it's not right in every scenario. Some people had to purchase had to live on those credit cards because they weren't working. But were they really being as frugal as they needed to be when they weren't working? A lot of people lose their jobs and they don't change their lifestyles for a while. So these are things you have to really look at and be honest with yourself. You can only be honest with yourself. That's the only important thing. Are you being manipulated by advertising? And here's a perfect example, and no offense to anyone who has one, but to me, the snuggly, the robe that's a blanket, is being manipulated by advertisers. Have we become this lazy in this country that we need a robe, a backwards robe? You could just use your regular robe and put it on backwards, a blanket with arms in it, so we don't have to pull it down before we're going to have a snack or to sip a cup of coffee or whatever on the couch. We've become that lazy. Now, if your house is set at 50 degrees in the winter because you're trying to save money, then fine, the snuggly might come in handy. But it's probably not for that reason. Most people have them because they're too lazy to get up off the couch or pull the blanket down to eat something. I mean, that is just manipulation by advertising. So be careful. Quit watching TV and maybe that won't happen. Save all your receipts for a month. Again, create yourself a budget. This is the most important thing. Spend only on your necessities and become frugal and look for deals. All right? I repeat this over and over because repetition is the mother of memory, and you'll forget what I said. Most of these lessons only last a few 15 minutes and then your brain shuts off because you've been conditioned by television to wait for a commercial. So some of this stuff you might have missed even though we went over it. And go over it again and again and again because this is what's going to create your... All right, this is the system. We've finally gotten here. Probably thinking, geez, it's about time, Jeff. I'm sick and tired of hearing about how I should be frugal and save money. Well, this is why you're doing it. This is the system itself. And when we're finished, you're going to say, that's it? I can do that. Yes, you can. All right, what we're doing here is we're focusing on a debt. One debt at a time, unless what you've done is combine them all. But you're focusing on one, just like the Army, just like Patton did, and broke through the line, just like you do with the magnifying glass. You aim all of your weapons at one, and you're going to focus on that. The ammunition is the money that you're able to save, okay, and spend down on that debt. Your latte money or whatever you spend on things that you don't need, that is your ammunition. What you're doing with this is creating a snowball effect because as you pay off one debt, you use that income or that debt to put into as more ammunition towards the next debt, and then you focus on that one and that one and that one until it's all paid off. It's as simple as possible, but it's an effective means of saving money. It's an effective way of paying off debt. First, you got to find the money, okay? And we talked about that. There's frugal ways. Go on to destroyyourdebt.org. There's all kinds of stuff on how to save money, how to make extra money, whatever. The more money you have, the more ammunition you have. This is war against you and your debtors, and you need as much ammunition and firepower as possible. So anytime you want to look at buying a latte, remember, those are bullets that could be used to be paying down this debt. You got to think of it as war. You got to think of it as a fight, and that's what you want. You don't go in unprepared. And how does it work? Well, I kind of explain that, and I'll go on to it. It works by paying off one debt, building that into the next debt, and moving on. And you need to stay on target. Okay? Stay focused. Stay on target. Now, here's the example. What you've been waiting for. Let's say your take-home pay is $3,000. It might be high for some of you. It might be low for you, any of you. It doesn't matter. This is just an example. Hopefully it's low for most of you so that this will work out even better for you. Okay? Now your ammunition is $300. And where did I get that? I took 10%. Why? Because the first month I told you to save 10%, send 15% of your income to create yourself a little reserve. But 10%, if you're able to do that, you can save 10%. And I know you can save 10% right there. Your cable bill is $150, which is 5%. Your home phone's 50, and I guarantee you can find $100 worth of items that you spend a month that are useless. So right there is 300 bucks. Let's say you have a Visa bill that has a $650 payment, and that payment is $25 a month. You've limited it out, or maybe you haven't, it doesn't matter, but you want to get that paid off. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that ammunition at $300 plus the normal $25 payment that you make. You apply that to your Visa bill until it's paid, which will take 2 months. All right? You don't spend any more money on the Visa, and as soon as you pay it off, cut that thing up so you can't use it again. Leave the account open because it's necessary for your credit, but don't use the account again. Pay only minimum payments on everything else. I talked about this a little bit before. Don't try to, listen, if you spread out your ammunition, you've weakened it. We're focusing on one till it's paid off. Why? Because now, once that Visa bill's paid in 2 months, you're going to take that $25 minimum payment and focus it onto another debt. All right, that's the whole key to the system. You're building a snowball. Now your snowball, or your ammunition, where you had only 300 bullets in there, now you get an extra 25 bullets from the bill that you've been paying on the Visa. So now you have 325 bullets or bombs or whatever you want to think towards your next debt. So let's look at your next debt. It's a car payment, $500 a month. You're going to add $300 of your ammunition plus the $25 from your Visa bill that you were normally paying, and you're not charging up your Visa anymore. So your total car payment is $825 per month. You're going to then focus that every month, and I know this seems like a long time, but this is what you're doing. And trust me, if you look and try to find 1% of a month, it'll go that much quicker. That much quicker. Every $5, every $10. It helps you to get to your freedom that much quicker. So look for that money the whole time you're doing this. All right? $20,000 to pay off your car. You will pay it off in 24 months instead of 48 months. And it'll save you probably $3,000 in interest payments over the life of that loan. Easily. Maybe, $2,500 to $3,000 worth of interest on a 7% loan on your car. So now, your car's paid off. It's 2 years and 2 months. You've paid off your car. You've paid off your credit card debt that you have there. And now you only have a mortgage. And I know you're thinking, well, 2 years. My gosh, I thought this was going to be overnight. The faster, the more money you put towards that ammunition, the faster you will destroy it. The more you find ways to save money, the more you go on there and look on Destroy Your Debt and look for ways to save and make extra money or whatever, the faster you'll go. Remember that. The more fuel you add, the faster you'll go. The more ammunition, the more damage you'll do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add that $500 from your car to the mortgage payment. Okay? Well, we're not just adding that. Our mortgage payment is $885 a month. We're including the $825. Now, where did I get $825? Well, I took your $500 car payment, your $300 worth of ammunition, and your other $25 from your Visa card bill, and I'm putting all of that together. And now I'm paying $1,710.76 a month towards your mortgage. Now, what are you saying to me? Well, I might need a new car. I know that's the first thing that you'll think. Oh, well, I paid my car off. I could get a new car. No. Read the book, The Millionaire Next Door. I'll put the link up on the website. It explains that most millionaires in this country own an American-made car that is between 5 to 7 years old. They don't have new cars. They're millionaires. Why do you think you do? The people who have new cars and fancy cars are only ones that are trying to act like they're millionaires. The true millionaires don't spend the money. Billionaires do. Millionaires don't. Read the book. It's a great read. Tom Stanley is an excellent author, and he's got a lot of great books out there. Okay? So take that $825 for $1,710, and you are now going to pay off your mortgage in 10 years instead of 30. Actually, you're going to pay it off in 97 months or 8 years. Do you realize that that alone will probably save you over $100,000 in interest over the amortization of the loan? you can literally save yourself $100,000. And if your house is paid off in